Alright, what is up, you guys? Continuing on with the SummerSlam reviews. This time we have 1997. And this was, to me at least, and I've heard some other people say this, but I really do believe this. This is one of the most important SummerSlams of all time. It's not one of the greatest, it's not like top 5 greatest or anything, but it's damn sure important. So this was 1997, and this was at a time period where, in early 97, even to mid 97, this company was financially fucked. They weren't going out of business. They weren't anywhere near that. But it was one of the worst years for the company, and something had to be done. They're getting their ass kicked by WCW. Fan interest was very low, and they needed to do something. And, 97 was very much an important year for the fact that it kick-started the Attitude Era. It really kind of transitioned that. And then 98 is when we really saw, what the Attitude Era was going to be like. A good analogy that I saw was that the Attitude Era was like high school. 97 was its freshman year. It was trying to, figure everything out. And then 2001 was when it truly graduated from the Attitude Era. So, to me, this is a very important pay-per-view, but let's get into it. We have Mankind defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a steel cage opener in 16 minutes and 13 seconds. This is a great steel cage match, and look at it now. In hindsight, Mankind versus Triple H in a steel cage match at SummerSlam. That has Blockbuster written all over it. And this is when they were still finding their footing. This was Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China. This was the Blue Blood years. So to really have that dynamic between these two, and in hindsight where they are now, it's pretty special. We have Goldust defeating Brian Pillman. Very interesting storyline going into this. The match is pretty average, but this was one of my favorite gimmicks, early Goldust. I love it. He had Marlena, of course, who would be his wife. And, very good chemistry between the two. Very good storyline and build up to this. And, average match. And then we have the Legion of Doom defeating the Godwins. Not too much in this tag team match, so not really too many thoughts about that one. And then we have the British Bulldog defeating Ken Shamrock by disqualification for the European Championship. A lot of interest going into this one. And, Ken Shamrock, of course, was in the UFC before this. He helped really establish what the UFC was. So it's actually really ballsy to want to transition from MMA, which wasn't anywhere near what it is today in terms of popularity, to sports entertainment. And, these two, this is more of a kind of gimmicked up match, ends with disqualification involving dog food, so you can't go wrong there. And then we have 8-man tag team match. Not too much to go off of there either. Went 9 minutes. Really, just, it is what it is. And then your two marquee matches here. And what I say are two reasons why this is one of the most important pay-per-views of all time. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Owen Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. This went 16 minutes and 16 seconds. And this match has gone down in history as a negative thing, whereas it was truly a positive thing. And hear me out here. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was the next big guy. It was already established. He is going to be that next big thing that this company was going to build around. That next Hulk Hogan, per se. So, to have this match where he's supposed to win the Intercontinental Championship from Owen Hart, pile driver gone wrong, from Owen Hart to Stone Cold. We have the neck break, and thankfully he wasn't paralyzed, but he was very, very injured here. And Stone Cold, for, months before this, was going around. He won King of the Ring in 96. He was saying he was such a badass, the toughest son of a bitch in the world. And this match proved that and truly established that he was something special. That he wasn't just talking shit. That he backed this up. He was able to, with a broken neck, roll up Owen Hart. Obviously, it was a bad roll up. It looked nothing like it should have pinned anyone. But still, the fact that he could actually move enough to, and even have enough clarity to roll up Owen Hart for the pin and win the Intercontinental Championship was impressive. And the crowd knew that. This wasn't an idiotic crowd, okay? This was a smart crowd. They knew what they were watching. They knew Stone Cold was injured. And they knew that, he possibly could be paralyzed. But, his legs were moving. He was able to get that roll up. And this established Stone Cold as a badass. This established him as someone to take seriously. And that's why I say it's a positive, because this could have just been another Intercontinental Championship match. This helped the crowd get behind him. This helped people to see that Stone Cold was something to take seriously, like I said. Obviously, this may have been a step back physically, but in my opinion, this was a huge step up in the company's history. Stone Cold really helped save this company in the late 90s and early 2000s and helped win that Monday Night War. So I see this as a positive. And, obviously there was Owen Hart heat here because, Stone Cold always said that he never really apologized for this and all that. It is what it is. And then we have your main event, another very historic matchup. This was 1997. We all know what happened in 1997. Bret Hart versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as your special guest referee for the WWF World Championship. This was leading up to, once again, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series of 97. This really helped propel that rivalry. We had the unintended chair shot, and which would, like I said, perplex this rivalry and really finish it off in November of 97. So, this is a good match between these two. These are, if you look at it, Bret Hart, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels were three of your biggest guys in the company right now. They were those new generation guys. And, like I said, we were transitioning from new generation era to attitude era. So this was a big main event. And, it may have had a screwy finish, but still, it went 28 minutes and 10 seconds, which is pretty long for a SummerSlam main event. But, it's one of those matches where you can look at it and enjoy every minute of it. And even in hindsight, you can see the historic implications that this match had, leading into Survivor Series of 97, which would, of course, transition Bret Hart out of the company and really transition the company a whole new direction into the Attitude Era. So, like I said, quality-wise, this is a good pay-per-view. But historically, this is massive. I say this is the most important SummerSlam of all time. Of course, besides the first and the inaugural 88 SummerSlam. But when it comes to a letter grade, I'm going to give this show a B+. This is something to behold, something to go back and watch, and something to remember. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look back at SummerSlam 97. For now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.